guests who smoke. Some of your guests may enjoy a cigarette during the dining experience. There are a number of ways in which you can accommodate these guests. Number 1. Informing guests of smoking areas. Number 2. Being ready. Number 3. Lighting your guest's cigarette. Number 4. Smoking away from the table. And number 5. When to replace ashtrays. Let's start with informing the guest of smoking areas. The world is becoming more health conscious, and smoking legislation differs from country to country, so you should always inform guests of the designated smoking areas at your establishment. This ensures the comfort of both your smoking and non-smoking guests. The smoking area may be an inside area, an outside area, or you may have no smoking area at all. Whichever the case at your establishment, be sure to inform the guest during their orientation when they arrive. Next, let's take a look at being ready. By observing your guests and checking in the reservation book, you may be able to see whether they are smokers or not. This is done by checking to see if they reserved a table in the smoking section, or observing small details, such as whether they have a box of cigarettes in their jacket or shirt pocket. If you have guests who smoke, be sure that there are enough spare clean ashtrays and double check that your lighter works. Next, let's look at lighting your guest's cigarette. It is wonderful service to offer to light your guests' cigarettes for them, but always ask first. You don't want to stick a flame in the guest's face if they are not comfortable with it. When offering to light your guest's cigarette, say for example, "Miss Jones, may I light your cigarette for you?" Make sure that the flame on your lighter has been set to the middle. You don't want it to be too big and burn the guest, and you don't want it to be too small to light the cigarette. Make sure you never move the flame towards the guest. Rather, hold it steady and let the guest move towards the flame. This is to avoid accidentally burning the guest as you both move forwards at the same time. Once their cigarette has been lit, ensure that there is an ashtray for them to use too. Now let's talk about smoking away from the table. Because of smoking legislation, guests often have to leave the dining area to smoke. If this is the case, it is still crucial that you offer them the best possible service. Guests will often want to enjoy a drink while they are away smoking. If they have left their drink at their seat, make sure to fetch it for them on a tray and present it to them in the smoking area. When you are back at their table to fetch their drink, make sure to refold their napkin and place it neatly at their setting, so that when the guest returns, it feels as though they've just arrived. Finally, let's take a look at when to replace ashtrays. Cigarettes have a strong odor or smell and can affect the flavor of guests' meals in a dining room. An ashtray full of cigarette butts is very ugly to look at. So, it is important to follow the 2-butt rule. This rule simply means that there must never be more than 2 cigarette butts in an ashtray. As soon as a 3rd butt goes into an ashtray, you must replace it with a clean one. So now, you should know more about the following points: informing guests of smoking areas, being ready, lighting your guest's cigarette, smoking away from the table, and when to replace ashtrays. Good luck with being alert and ready to remove or replace the guests' ashtrays.